talk us through, if you will, the significance of President Moon Jae-in's proposal?
Well, under the previous president in South Korea, talks between North Korea and South Korea virtually stopped altogether. The South Korean president at the time, President Park, said that if there were to be talks, North Korea had to denuclearize. That didn't happen. It didn't work. President Moon, since he came to power in May, has been calling for dialogue, has been calling for engagement. And this is just a further sign in his apparent conviction that engagement is the only way that's really going to lead this further forward at the moment. It's simply trying to browbeat the North Koreans and play the sort of game of poker that President Trump of the United States has been playing over the last few months with the North Koreans hasn't seemed to work. Using the Chinese gambit of trying to get the Chinese to put pressure on the North Koreans through the economic power they wield over the North doesn't seem to have worked either. The Chinese don't seem particularly keen to play with the Americans on that, although they have made a few minor measures which have put a bit of pressure on the North Koreans, but not substantial. So I think this is just regarded by the South Koreans at the moment as an absolutely essential move to make, given the fact that if it all goes haywire, if the military tensions continue to rise, South Korea is in the firing line, and Seoul, the South Korean capital, is extremely close to the border with North Korea. The North Koreans have threatened that they would obliterate Seoul if military action were to start, and they would escalate to the highest level almost immediately. So the stakes here are extremely high indeed for the South Koreans, and they're just looking for what options there are to exploit with the North Koreans to see whether they can be brought on board to try to de-escalate, to find some way of taking the tensions out of the situation.
So a very different approach to North Korea by South Korea's new president. What's brought this offer on by Seoul?
Well, I think there can be very little doubt that the missile test of the intercontinental ballistic missile on July the 4th by the North Koreans has played a significant part in it. Also, it has to be said that the talks between President Moon, the South Korean leader, and President Trump in Washington, where they started to explore the possibility of engaging the North Koreans, has played a part as well. I think probably what we're going to see going forward is not an attempt to just drop the stick approach to North Korea altogether. It's going to be a combination of carrot and stick, and this is the first use of the carrot we've seen from the South Koreans for at least a couple of years. Whether it will lead to anything, we don't know as yet, because the North Koreans haven't responded. I think probably most people will suspect that, given the fact that the North Koreans seem to be getting away with what they're doing, they will respond, if at all, only lightly. I think at the moment they see a military advantage to be gained by pursuing their military program. They've been making a lot of progress on their missiles. It seems unlikely, I think, that they're going to drop that at the moment. They'll press it further forward until they feel they're in a stronger position, and then perhaps start talking about negotiations.